Welcome to another Miscellaneous Monday, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about something slightly different, and I want to show you the way that I edit portraits. Now, in the last vlog you will have seen that I went over to Birmingham and I worked with an actor called Chris and shot some headshots, some sort of portfolio shots, and I wanted to just touch on changing a perception of editing. Now, when we shoot landscapes, because of the constant how accessible amazing landscape photographs are these days, we always see what they've done and we can emulate it when we shoot our own landscapes. For example, we shoot a shot, and if we're not happy with it, which, let's face it, I don't think I've ever been happy with a shot that I've just taken straight from camera, I'll probably look at the shadows and I'll raise those shadows and I'll probably drop those highlights. So if the highlights are quite bright, or if the sky is lacking definition, we're dropping the highlights. You can see brings back a little bit of colour, and the same with the shadows. If I raise those shadows, then the same sort of effect happens in the actual landscape part of the photograph. So what I want to try and mention is I do the opposite of that when I shoot headshots. So the other day I worked with Chris, and let's just jump onto the screen and I'll show you what I mean. So if we look at the screen straight away, with this first shot, I mean, look at my sliders on the right hand side. Highlights are set to +5 and shadows are brought down. The whites are up, the blacks are down, the contrast is slightly up, the clarity is slightly up. And let's just see how it came into Lightroom. If I press the / key and then press it again, and this is, I mean, look at those subtle differences. I mean, I'll remember that the shadow is on -40, but the shadow, double tapping that takes it back to 0. And watch what happens if I just drop it down to like -40. So those dark areas just become a little bit darker, which brings more attention up to the face. Because I don't want any attention anywhere but the eyes, and especially, well, the face and especially the eyes. So that's why I do that. And look at this black and white. This next one here, I've actually dropped the highlights, but they're actually still higher than my shadows, because I did use a flash gun here and it was very bright, so I didn't want to attract too much attention to the right hand side. So by, again, dropping those shadows further than the highlights, I can really help to make a little bit of mood and bring a little bit of character out of Chris's face. Now, working with Chris was an absolute dream, because he said to me, look, I'm 46 and I want to look my age, because I'm sick and tired of going to castings with my old headshots and looking like I've got super smooth skin and looking 10 years younger. Because trust me, as an actor, that's not good. If you don't look like your headshot, that's... When you're shooting headshots for actors, you're not trying to make them look incredible. I always say, it's not the best they've ever looked, it's them on a good day. That's how we should be making them look. And we should be celebrating them crow's feet and those laughter lines. Especially if you're of a certain age and you do have wrinkles, celebrate them, show them off. It makes for a way better image, and in the acting world, it's way more castable as well. If you look a little bit mean, if you look at the best actors in the world, you know, they probably don't have super smooth skin and stuff. We'll leave that to the OK magazine crowd. We want to celebrate those lines in the face, and we can do that by reducing the shadows, adding the highlights, and maybe just going to the right on the clarity slider as well, adding a bit of clarity. So that's it really. I just wanted to show you how I edit, and I don't edit in the same way that I edit landscapes. Landscapes is the opposite. I'll increase the shadows and get rid of those highlights. But here, I think it really adds to character if you can just kind of crush those shadows, drop those shadows, increase the highlights, because when you take a picture, the highlights and the brightest parts will probably be on the face anyway. So all that does is just add a little bit more impetus really on the zone that you want the viewer to focus on, which will be the eyes, the face, those lines in the face. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching this Miscellaneous Monday. I hope you found something, or you can relate to the way that I edit my portraits. If you don't shoot portraits, give them a go. I think you'll really enjoy it. Portraits are some of the hardest things to do in the photography world, I think, because you're working with another person. So you have to leave all your insecurities at the door, and you just have to work with a human being and try and capture their soul through your lens onto your sensor. That's the whole point of doing portrait shoots, which is why I love shooting headshots, because I can really do that. I mean, if we look at, just jump back onto the screen, some of these shots, they look, if you look at Chris here, I feel like I've got such a performance out of him on the camera that you can almost tell exactly what he's thinking at this moment, and you could pigeonhole him into a role in the acting world yourself, a baddie in a James Bond film, that sort of thing. I think he looks absolutely brilliant for that. So yeah, thanks for watching, folks. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next Thursday for the vlog at 7. And tell your friends, folks. La, 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 la.